Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into something that could literally change your life. If you're ready to become the best version of yourself, to reinvent yourself and become that girl in 2025 who achieves all of her goals, has abundance and happiness, then this video is for you. Grab a notebook, a pen, a tea, coffee, or my personal favorite, a coconut sugar. Get ready because we're going to get real, raw, and practical. Before we get any further, I want to bust a myth that reinvention is a bad thing or that it's a way of rejecting who you are. That is definitely not the case. When you are reinventing yourself, you're actually taking a front seat and intentional approach to becoming the best version of you. Humans change over time naturally, whether we like it or not. Reinvention is about choosing your change. Let's dive into what we're going to cover today to become that girl in 2025. There are 5 key steps to follow, and you can't really skip one because reinvention and becoming the best version of ourselves involves a lot of steps, and it's a bit like making a pie with a lot of ingredients. If you forget 1 or 2 of those ingredients, you're not going to get a pie at the end. So the 5 key areas that we need to work on in 2025 are mindset, habits, appearance, environment, and relationships. Let's dive into it. The first area that we need to improve on to become that girl and reinvent ourselves is mindset. Mindset is everything. Your mindset literally can start to shift your reality. Your mindset is what can limit you or expand you. The beliefs you hold about yourself can either keep you in a small box or they can make you spread your wings and fly. And the good news is, beliefs and your thoughts are something that you can change over time. So here is what has really helped me make leaps and bounds over the last few years with my mindset. Number 1 is scripting. Now you may have heard of scripting, but I'm just going to run through it really quickly. So the basics of scripting is you literally grab a pen, grab a notebook, and write out what a perfect day as your ideal self looks like. And you write it in past tense. So you would write, today I woke up, I went to a Pilates class, I drove my Ferrari, I came back to my mansion, I ate a smoothie bowl, I felt relaxed, I felt happy, etc, etc, etc. And what you do is you write almost like a diary entry for like the perfect day in your perfect ideal future life. And the reason you write it in past tense is because then your brain thinks that you have already had this experience. And that's a way to start training your subconscious mind to think that you're capable and worthy of living this dream life. But what the subconscious mind will do is if it thinks that you have these amazing things, it's going to get confused because your reality doesn't yet reflect that. So what will happen is you will then start working to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be over time. Plus, it's a really good way to change what you think is possible for you. A lot of people struggle with improving mindset because they look around their current circumstances and they're like, well, I'm not a millionaire or I don't own a business. But if you only focus on your present, you're not going to be able to take the steps to achieve what is waiting for you in your future. Your reality right now is irrelevant. What you need to do is work on your mindset and start to really believe that you are capable of anything, that you are deserving of the future that's waiting for you. And something that's really powerful is also thinking about how you would feel in that future version of you or as that future version of you. Would you feel happy? Would you feel calm? Tap into those feelings because it's a really fast way to sort of manifest your future. The next thing to do to start working on your mindset, and a mindset that is going to gear you for success, is saying affirmations. You don't need to say like 100 affirmations every day, but you probably need to say or could say around 10 every morning and every evening before you go to bed. And I wouldn't just pick any old affirmations. I would pick a mixture of affirmations that support your future goals and the things you want to have in life, and ones that address maybe some negative thoughts or negative habits that you have. Just say you had a lack of confidence. One of your affirmations could be, I'm the most confident person I know. Every day I feel so confident. I can't believe how confident I am. And you say it like it's already happened. Again, we want to trick the subconscious mind into thinking that we already have the things that we desire. So I would make a list of around 10 affirmations and I'll pop them in my phone, and every morning, maybe just after you've had breakfast, close your eyes and say them, because our words are powerful. Saying things out loud really makes an impact. And while you might be saying them, and at the time you might not really feel that you are confident, you might not feel like a millionaire, you might not feel like you have a great successful business, over time, saying those affirmations and saying those words will become so normalized to you that you'll start to actually believe them. You'll be like, yeah, of course I'm a millionaire. Yes, of course I'm super confident. And yes, it won't happen overnight, but honestly, saying 10 affirmations a day takes like 30 to 60 seconds. And if it could change the course of your life, I think that's an investment I'd be willing to make. The next way to upgrade your mindset for 2025 and become that girl is to practice gratitude. Now, I'm sure you've heard about the power of gratitude in many other YouTubers' videos, but this is just a quick reminder that gratitude is the most powerful way to manifest your dreams into reality. Because when we are grateful, we operate at a higher vibration. When we feel grateful, we feel happy, we feel like really positive emotions, and that's a very lovely and powerful place to be when we want to think about the action steps we need to take to achieve our future dreams. Being grateful puts us in a more positive state of mind, and a positive state of mind is what we're going to need to see through all of our plans and goals for the new year. And like they say, like attracts like. So the more grateful you are for the things that you currently have, the more likely you'll be able to attract more into your life. I've read self-development books and mindset books for years, but something really hit me the other day, which was that your outer world really does reflect your inner world. So you can, do your gratitude practices and clean your house and dress like the highest version of you and do all these things. But at the end of the day, life is going to feel more difficult if you don't fix your inner world first. So I'd really prioritize mindset, and that's why it's the first step of the 5 that I'm covering today. The next step in reinventing yourself for 2025 is habit setting. So habits are just those small little everyday things that lead to massive results and can honestly change your life. So habits are something we actually need to be intentional about, but we also need to make them easy and implementable. Otherwise, we'll do it for a few days and we'll get to the end of the first week of January and be like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore, which we want to obviously avoid. So there are some tricks to making habits more likely to work. And the trick is really making them sustainable, setting realistic habits, setting realistic goals, but also habit stacking, which is something that James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits, which is a great book to read if you really want to knuckle down and set amazing habits in 2025. So something that you can do right now is get, again, pen and paper and write down a day as the dream version of you. So maybe, what time does the dream version of you wake up in the morning? Do they get up at 5 a.m. or do they sleep until 10? Do they get up super early and go and do a Pilates or a gym workout, then come home and do journaling? Or do they sleep until 10 o'clock and watch reality TV and scroll on their phone? So what you need to do is think about, when I'm a CEO, or when I'm this, millionaire influencer, or whatever it is that your goal is, think about, what does a day in the life as your dream self look like? What time do they get up? What do they eat? What are their hobbies? Like, what kind of people are they spending time with? And then start to actually implement those habits into your life right now. Because by doing that, and by emulating the habits that the future version of you imagine would do, by doing this, you're actually going to close the gap between your present and the future version of you that is killing it at life. And if it sounds too hard to have like a whole day of habits as your future self, then I would really just focus on your morning routine, because our mornings really do set the tone for the entire day. So obviously in the morning, that's a time where you can get into the right mindset by doing some gratitude, journaling, affirmations, and scripting. Or it could be a time where you need to go and exercise to get in that positive frame of mind. Maybe it's having a healthy breakfast instead of just having some cereal. So think about what can work for you. Obviously, like, depending on the time you need to be at work is going to impact your morning habits. But if it means getting up just a little bit earlier so that you can start to embody your future higher self, then why not give it a try? Next, I want to talk about appearance. So when we want to become that girl and we want to reinvent ourselves, appearance does matter. But what I'm really talking about, I guess, is like our signature style. If you want to become a Instagram fashion influencer, then the kinds of clothes you wear, your makeup and your hairstyle do matter, because you're trying to put out a certain image, because you're trying to build a career in influencing or in a particular space in the fashion world. If you wanted to become a high-powered businesswoman, then perhaps your style would revolve around power suits and structured blazers and tailored pants and briefcases and super high heels and that sort of thing. Or if you want to get into like the wellness space and start some sort of like luxury retreat, then maybe your style revolves around wearing, I don't know, like natural loose curls, beige activewear sets and loose flowy dresses and toe rings and things like that. What I'm saying is that when you want to become that version of you that is winning at life and living out your dream, then it's important to really picture in your mind what kind of clothes they wear and what they look like on a day-to-day basis. Because then, like I've said before, you just start doing it right now, because there's something called enclothed cognition, and basically in a nutshell, enclothed cognition is basically this psychological phenomena where if we wear clothes like, for example, like a blazer and structured pants, then we kind of go into that mental state of work mode. And sometimes our clothes can also make us feel more confident, and sometimes our clothes can also make us take on like personality traits of people we associate wearing those clothes. So if you're wearing, suits, tailored trousers, like power suits and blazers, then you might feel more businessy and you might feel more professional and conduct yourself in a particular way, versus if you're wearing long floaty dresses with lots of gold jewelry, then you might sort of have a more relaxed feel about you and speak a little bit more softly and slowly and all the rest of it. So our clothes can actually impact how we feel about ourselves. They also impact how others perceive us. And this is really important when we are trying to reinvent ourselves in our brand, is to look the part. If you went to a dentist and he was wearing a tracksuit with like, I don't know, Adidas Sambas and a gold chain around his neck, you'd probably walk out the door. Actually, no, you would run out the door, because clothes matter. We associate certain looks and styles with certain professions and certain levels of confidence. But it's not just important about how other people perceive us, it's actually how we perceive ourselves. So if you want to be that girl in 2025, go onto Pinterest, type in the aesthetic that you're looking for, whether it's businesswoman or like Pinterest girly, Instagram stylist, whatever. Go and start a mood board, pick the outfits that you like and you would see yourself wearing, and then slowly but surely start to wear those sorts of outfits yourself, and just watch how much more confident you feel and how much more capable you feel about your goals. Next, I want to talk about environment. And when I talk about environment, I mean like our day-to-day environment. So when we want to level up and become that girl and reinvent ourselves, changing our surroundings is super important. Again, it's about bringing that future version of us into the present. So something that I like to do is when I do my scripting and I imagine, that future version of me waking up in the morning, I also imagine what I'm looking at. Like, what kind of bedroom aesthetic do I have? Is my bed super messy? Do I have clothes all over the floor? Or is everything like kind of like beige and sunbathed and candles and plants and that sort of thing? So one way you can level up in 2025 is to really improve your day-to-day environment. So number one, clean up and declutter. I don't know about you, but I really feel scattered if my house is messy. So a really simple way to start to improve your surroundings is honestly just to declutter, put things away, throw out things you don't use anymore, and just clean up your space. Because they do say like the more you can get rid of the old, you're able to invite in the new. So I would really try and declutter and get rid of redundant things in your house, like your life depends on it. So the next thing I would do after decluttering and making room for the new is I would add little touches of luxury around your home. But not just any touch of luxury, I would add things that have some kind of significant meaning to you. And when I say add a touch of luxury, all of the things I'm talking about are super affordable. It might just be a really nice candle on your bedside table. Maybe it's just a $15 bunch of flowers from the supermarket. It could be some crystals. It could be one of those, fashion art posters that you have framed and you pop it on your wall. Just something that kind of makes you feel like you're getting closer to who you want to become. This is going to be different for everyone watching this video. What I recommend doing is thinking about, you know, that girl that you want to be, and think about the kind of bedroom that they would have and what the decor would look like and how they would treat themselves, and see if there's some of those things that you can afford to put in your surroundings right now. It just might be as simple as buying a houseplant or a nice book or a nice vase to put on your coffee table, or something to add a point of interest on your TV cabinet. It could really be anything. It might even be upgrading your linen or upgrading your bed sheets or your throw blanket or your pillows, just to upgrade those little day-to-day things, even like upgrading your PJs and swapping, you know, like a baggy t-shirt and baggy stained track pants to some really nice silk or satin PJs, or just a simple matching set. Because by slowly upgrading these day-to-day things in our environment, we start to upgrade too. And sometimes it can be really hard to shift our internal state, but something we can do is we can upgrade our surroundings, and that also has an impact on us internally, and it kind of creates this loop and can get us on track to becoming the best version of ourselves. One more thing I'll add about upgrading our environment is to create a vision board. I think I touched on this in my last video, but vision boards are an incredibly powerful tool. I do one every single year, and I usually achieve 80 to 90% of things on my vision board, if not more. I'm always pleasantly surprised by how much I achieve on my vision board each year, and it's why I recommend it to everyone to really sit down and think about the key things you want, or at least top 3 goals you have for the new year. Then get photos that show the goals that you want, plaster them on the vision board, and put it everywhere so you see it every single day. You need to train yourself to see your goals as something you can 100% achieve, and almost think like they're mundane. Like, of course I'll be a millionaire. Of course I'll become this businesswoman. Of course I'll become a high-powered lawyer. You need to think that everything is possible for you, so you actually trust yourself enough to take the steps required to achieve everything that you dream of. I used to make physical vision boards and like pin everything to like a cork board, but what I prefer to do now is I like to make a vision board in Canva. I make it my phone wallpaper, my laptop wallpaper, and I just print out a copy and keep it next to my bed. If you have your vision board on your laptop wallpaper and your phone, you will literally see it every single day, and it's going to have the most amount of impact. And last but not least, we need to talk about relationships. So when we are becoming the highest version of ourselves, we need to be really careful about who we are spending time with. The relationships we have with people really impact our lives. I have learned over time that it is incredibly important to basically hire and fire accordingly. People can either have a really positive impact in our lives, or they can really take away. That's why they talk about things like energy vampires and people who really drain your energy, because it's actually a real issue. And I know that this is a tough one, because a lot of us, especially like later in life, we've had friends we've had our entire lives, but it is natural at times to outgrow certain friendships, and this is completely normal. As we grow, we have different priorities, we go down different paths in life, and sometimes we will get to stages where we have literally nothing in common with people that we were once really close with, and that's actually okay. Now, when we are on the path of reinvention, just because we are on this massive reinvention journey doesn't mean people around us have to either, but it is important to recognize if we have people in our inner circle that are toxic, that are negative, or are having a potentially negative influence on our lives. One way to protect yourself is to have really strong boundaries. And this goes for anyone from someone you're dating, to your friends, to your colleagues, you name it. And the key thing you need to focus on protecting is your mental health, your finance, and your time. For example, just say every Saturday you go and you have a tennis lesson or something like that. And then you start seeing this new guy, and then at the drop of a hat, night before, he's like, let's do something tomorrow morning. Now, if you have boundaries and you respect yourself, you would then be like, sorry, I'm busy, I have a tennis lesson. But if you put someone else on a pedestal, like a guy, then maybe you'd be like, oh, I guess I could cancel tennis and, you know, go hang out with this guy. No, we are not doing that in 2025. Ladies, in life, you must stick to your commitments, stick to your hobbies, and basically treat yourself as numero uno, number one. You are the prize, so treat yourself as the prize, and then the rest will follow. So it's really important in 2025 to have healthy boundaries with friends, with people we're dating, and with colleagues. And spend more time with people who uplift you, people who are happy to see you succeed, people who listen to you, who are there for you when you need them, and people who, when you walk away from the interaction, you feel like your cup is full. A really good indicator as to whether someone is healthy for you or not is not how you feel when you're together, but how you feel after the interaction with someone. Because if you leave an interaction and you feel anxious, or you feel drained, or you feel kind of flat, that can be a pretty good indicator over whether that person is good for you or not. And if you feel like you don't have any amazing friends in your life right now, that's okay. You can literally make friends at any age. And I know making friends as an adult isn't always easy, but I have literally made some of my best friends the last 2 years from my work and literally just meeting someone out at an event. Like for me, I'm really interested in fashion. I love all things beauty, and I happened to meet my now best friend at a fashion event because she asked me to take a photo for her, and then we got talking, and the rest is history. Invest time in going and trying new things. If you have a hobby, hobbies are a great way to meet people that also share a similar interest with you. So maybe you might want to try things like indoor rock climbing, tennis, golf, book clubs, knitting clubs, cooking clubs. I don't really know. There's probably a million different things out there. If you have interest in something in particular, why not go and give it a go? Strike up a conversation with someone and just put yourself out there. Honestly, making new friends is kind of like dating. So you do have to put yourself out there and try new things, but honestly, it is so worth it. Plus, you might even be able to make friends with people in your workplace. Like if you work for a massive company, I don't know, just try and strike up a conversation with someone at the coffee making machine and just see where it goes. Okay, before we wrap up this video, I just wanted to say that on the path to becoming the best version of you, there's obviously going to be wins, and sometimes there might be little setbacks. Sometimes we'll be tired, sometimes we'll get sick, sometimes things don't work out, and that is totally okay. The key to becoming the best version of yourself in 2025 is not perfection, it is progress. So something I always focus on is the habits and the action steps, not the end result. Because if you only think about the end goal, it can be really disheartening because it seems so far away. But what you really need to focus on are the little steps you take every single day, because those compound over time, and it's those steps and habits that lead to big results. And those steps and habits are 100% in your control. So there you have it. 5 steps to shock them all and become that girl in 2025. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Feel free to come and say hi on Instagram at KimmyJaneOfficial, and I hope to see you in my next video.